feels a little different, but
at the same time, the same.
Studio 3.0. Hello and welcome back to Good Bad or Bad Show. We watch terrible movies, tell you if you should too. I'm your host, Mr. Brian Shilligo, joined as always by my other host, Mr. Kyle Hinton. That's right, we're in the new studio 3.0. For you at home, it probably looks exactly basically the same.
Yeah, because we are unoriginal people.
Kyle's shot is slightly different because I moved the bulletin board slightly lower so that it was in the shot a little more behind you, so that like the things people send in were a little more visible. But other than that, it's pretty much the fucking same. So if you don't like change, you're welcome.
I do want to get something out of the way right now. Brian, your eyes.
I went to a roller derby party last night, and it was a decades party, and I was going for early 2000s emo, and so I did some eyeliner, and I cannot get it off. So if I look a little more smoky and intense than normal, that's why. For these next two episodes.
When I first saw Brian,
you didn't know what it was. You were like,
something was very off, and I couldn't pick. I couldn't pick it. I was like, is he in an 80s rock video?
Yeah, I have tried. I've used makeup wipes and stuff like 8 times, and it's still every time a little more comes off, but not all of it. So one day it'll be gone. But maybe not. Maybe it'll be here forever. I just have a little bit of eyeliner for the rest of my life. Guys, the movie we were talking about today was a fan mail send in. Let me see if I can find it. It's back here somewhere. There it is. We're talking about Gallowwalkers.
Yeah.
The Les Revenants de l'Enfer.
Oh, right. This is the one that was like half French, right?
Yeah, it's got French on a lot of the stuff. It has all the whole description in the back. It is also in French. Live by the gun, die by the gun, come back for more. So, this is a weird movie, Kyle.
It makes very little sense, I was confused the entire time.
It is, yes, it makes almost no sense.
She's with child when the mines dry up, so she becomes a thief, but not very good. She's headed for the gallows when the Sisters of San Diablo find her. They take her in and teach her the secrets of the dead.
But is also kind of great at times. Yeah. And by kind of great, I mean I applaud this movie for like making a choice and doing a thing. Like they have an aesthetic and like a look and a whole like world that this exists in, and they kind of commit to it. That it doesn't make any sense because nothing is explained except for like in grand exposition dumps by Wesley Snipes just talking.
She's the mistress of a slaughterhouse. She teaches him a trade, puts food on the table, loves him, and raises him with her daughter.
But a lot of the like background of the rest of the stuff doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's an interesting movie and it looks kind of cool at times. There's some visual stuff in this movie that's like okay. Like a cinematically.
And also they did the number one thing to do right whenever you have somebody, you know, Wesley Snipes is serviceable.
Yeah.
I mean, this is when he, you know, this is right before he went.
This is literally the fun fact I found on IMDb for this movie. He was filming this movie. He got indicted for his tax thing. He turned himself in, and then he posted $1 million bond and flew back to Africa to finish filming this movie.
Like, this is not Passenger 57 Wesley Snipes. This is Blade 3. I'm done with this Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
And fortunately, his co-stars kind of pick up the slack.
Yeah.
And the main villain for this film is fun.
Yeah.
We die, we come back, and you call us Gallowwalkers.
Yeah, the main villain is fun. I called him Bacon Man. He looks like a slab of bacon in the first scene that we're introduced to him. I also called him Willem Dafoe, spelled F-A-U-X, because they very clearly wrote that part for Willem Dafoe. Like his mannerisms and his face, I was like, oh, they wanted that to be Willem Dafoe, and instead they got this guy who does a fine job and is like you said, a lot of fun.
You never forget the man who kills you for the first time. First time is always special.
And so we find out as we open up on the movie that there's a gateway between hell and earth.
Legend goes that somewhere beneath these mountains lies a gateway between heaven and hell.
Or heaven and hell, and it's in the desert mountain.
Yeah, are they in purgatory?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. And it's guarded by a sisterhood, which we will learn nothing about. But they get mentioned numerous times. The sisterhood of...
It is said that a sacred sisterhood guards this portal.
The Sisters of San Diablo.
The Sisters of San Diablo had forced upon them the most cursed devotion.
What San Diablo, I think he says.
Isn't that what Wesley Snipes' mother's character is supposed to be part of?
Yeah, I think so, but we never for sure figure that out. But I think she is part of the Sisterhood of San Diablo because she talks to the devil at one point in this movie, which is interesting.
And I'll stay here as your servant.
Oh, my price is a little higher than that. He is one of mine now.
And makes a deal with
makes
the
a
devil.
deal with the devil, yeah. Which if you know
Wouldn't
anything,
recommend it.
not a good plan. And then we see this little kid in the world's worst wig, that white dreadlock wig he's wearing.
Why in this movie that is set in the desert is like half the people albinos?
I don't know, Kyle. It's because they're Gallowwalkers, or are they? That part when we'll get to that where we're introduced to the main bad guy. That scene to me makes less than no sense about like who these people are and what's going on, because all of the dynamics between all of the characters change constantly in that scene, and I don't know. We'll get there. None of this matters and none of it is explained, but he's pouring buckets of blood into a well because just having a normal one. We see this lady chopping a head off a corpse, or somebody's chopping a head off a corpse, and the kid goes to hide because somebody shows up, and I think it's Wesley Snipes maybe? I don't even know at this point. We don't really see him.
Yeah.
But somebody chops the head off a corpse. It is Wesley Snipes because it's one of the bad guys that we find out about later. And the kid's hiding, and he drops the head like on the... between the
floorboards.
Oh, and then we have a flashback in this moment. This is all before the opening title, to a woman being assaulted by these guys.
Yeah.
And this is an important scene. We'll find out later what this is. But she's being raped by this guy.
It's one of those things where, oh God, it feels like what they tried to do is say, I don't know, like Memento or something like that, where they just give you like fragments of history. Yeah. And they let the audience fill in the gap. Well, the only problem is they execute this horribly.
Yeah, and so by the end, they just have Wesley Snipes, or in the middle of the movie, because they just have Wesley Snipes stand and explain the backstory because they're like, this isn't making sense.
Vomits exposition at the
for
screen.
Like 5 minutes. It just goes on and on and on.
She's with child when the mines dry up, so she sends him to an orphanage. And there he grows. Ah, beautiful daughter. He leaves her. 5 men ride by. They find her alone.
So one of and this is the guy who got his head chopped off is one of the guys that was in the room while this rape was happening, and like we find out there was this guy, one of the main bad guy, he was there and he's forcing his son to rape this woman to become a man, and he's like laughing like an evil maniacal villain about it. And and then there's also these other people in the room, and one of the guys is the guy with the beard in the chair, and that's the guy whose head gets cut off in the beginning, I'm pretty sure here. Yeah. And then it's like hanging in a tree, and then we get the opening title credit card, like the opening like title animation.
Oh, it looks fucking awful.
It's pretty great. It's pretty fucking great. We get to opening, kind of the actual opening scene, which is this guy standing on the train tracks. And then
you mean this scene that they desperately were like, this is Once Upon a Time in the West?
Yeah.
Guys, this is Once Upon a Time in the West on a budget of $5.
Yeah. The budget for this movie, according to IMDb, was $17 million. This movie made $100,000, so it's a pretty big bomb.
Wow.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, because which actually doesn't surprise me, because some of the makeups and stuff are pretty good looking, and like
this film's just direction is just nonsensical.
Yeah, well, and it like because like the makeups look pretty good. I actually disagree that the direction's nonsensical. I think the script is nonsensical. I mean, I guess in that sense, translating whatever the script was to the screen was nonsensical. But like the script is terrible. The cinematography, I thought, is pretty good.
There's some good stuff in here.
There's some pretty, and like one of this opening shot, and it's nothing super original, but like there's the shot of like the train tracks going into the distance, and you see like the cart coming up, and there's like the three guys in like the priest outfits
I will say the one thing I was not expecting in this movie was the Spanish Inquisition.
Oh yeah, the fucking and they fucking come riding up on their little hand cart. It's pretty great. But there's some cool imagery with that, and they show up. It's the Spanish Inquisition. You're right.
Poke her with the soft cushion.
And they come up to this guy who's just standing on the train tracks, and who's
got like a metal neck brace.
What is those? He's not the only character in this movie with that thing. Later in the movie, when we get to like the military base in the flashback where Wesley Snipes murdered all those people, like the soldiers have those on.
No, he was posing as a soldier. That one dude.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, they killed other soldiers and he put on a uniform. Although you're not going to notice a guy with a fucking metal neck brace.
I was so confused. I was like, why do these soldiers...
Did anybody notice that Jeff Koski, he had like a metal neck brace off?
Jeff Koski?
Yeah, he's Czech.
Yeah, he's got this weird. Yeah, it's literally like when you get in a car accident, you get whiplash, except it's a metal one. It's just like holding his head up. It's very strange. But he's on the train tracks, and he runs into the Spanish Inquisition show up, and they're asking him where somebody is. They're like,
and their guy who talks has his lips
sewn shut.
Where is he?
They're asking where he is, and now none of this makes any sense or matters, because the only thing that matters in this scene is that eventually you find out that one of the guys gets away and tells the main bad guy that Wesley Snipes killed them all, so that the main bad guy can go kill Wesley Snipes. But the scene, other than that, we don't know why the Spanish Inquisition guys want who they want or why. They're just like, where is he? And they're like, oh, okay. And then our Wesley Snipes shows up. He's sitting behind a tree, chilling, like a boss. And then he just murders everybody. I love this scene. He shoots a guy and he goes flying like 8 feet. They do the classic
and like it's not that powerful of a pistol that he's.
No, he's just holding like a normal 45 or whatever. Whatever the
cal.
Whatever the normal like cowboy revolver is. He just has one of those.
They desperately tried to get some Clint Eastwood going in here. Whenever they were figuring out that Wesley Snipes was here, because more horses,
the extra horse.
I thought we told you to come alone. I did. We brought a horse too many.
Yeah,
we brought too many.
I didn't bring that one.
And it was like that line delivery, that kind of like using the environment to at least tell part of the story. Yeah. Beautiful.
This opening scene's the best part of the movie. Like, for sure. You can tell they kind of like, it got a little bit rushed maybe because Wesley Snipes was after this, because Wesley Snipes was like dealing with being in court and stuff or whatever. But this opening,
I want to think that he's wearing his costume in court because he's got to like
with his little white chin strap beard, which that was one of the things. Like, I get the look they're going for with him, but the white chin strap beard, it's so stark white. I guess it's because he's dead. That's like his like. When he came back from the dead, he's got that sweet little white chin strap. I don't know, but it's a look. This whole movie goes for it with their looks, and it doesn't always work out.
Dance, magic dance, dance, magic dance.
And he shoots all these guys, blasts them like crazy, and then he walks over to the lips guy who's still like kind of alive, sitting up.
Where is he?
And we, again, don't know who he's talking about. We'll find out eventually. It's the main bad guy who was the guy with the from the flashback earlier.
He did not come.
And then Wesley Snipes fingers this guy to death. Wesley Snipes fingers this guy to death. Did you notice?
Yeah.
He just shoves 2 fingers into his spine?
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for just saying that sentence. Wesley Snipes fingers this guy to death.
He absolutely does. He shoves 2 fingers right into his spine, and like blood comes out of his mouth or whatever. And then he like twists it, and the guy's like, and then he twists it, and it causes his neck to split.
I know nothing more.
He literally, this makes no sense. He twists his fingers and the guy's throat slits like a knife cut.
His head pops off.
And then, and then eventually, but first he yells and he pulls open the stitches on his mouth, which is great. And then Wesley Snipes with his 2 fingers just rips the guy's neck and head off of his body.
Yep, spinal column and all.
Which he does several times in this movie. He goes full Sub-Zero on him, which is pretty great. And he can just rip people's spines out, we find out. And we don't know why. He guess he has superpowers, kind of.
Well, he is Blade.
Yeah, maybe he is just Blade. Maybe this is like a time travel, like some sort of thing, and he is just Blade. It's wild. And then he explains that when people die, they come back, and they're harder to kill.
Out here, they come back harder to kill.
Because they come back as like zombies. They don't seem harder to kill.
They don't seem harder to kill at all.
No, they seem just as easy to kill. Apparently, ripping their head and spine out keeps them from coming back.
The way I finish them, rip out their heads.
I guess it's like kind of a zombie thing where if you destroy their head, because later in the movie he starts popping heads like like balloons. And then we cut to the main female character, which Kyle, for the life of me, I could not tell you her name. We know nothing about this character.
I think it's Mistress. Like that's her.
Yeah, in the credits. Yeah. She's irrelevant. I don't know why she's in this movie, other than so that we have a woman in a low cut bustier being drug around for most of the film.
You're talking about the captured one.
Yeah. Yes. The captured one.
No clue who she is.
She's like she was a dancer, she says, and she's captured in the beginning by the marshals or something, and they're like arresting her for prostitution or something.
What piece of you can I buy for $1?
my pity.
I was being kind.
I like my men heartless.
And it's her and some other people, and then this blonde guy, like with long blonde hair, which I don't remember his name either. They all have weird names. They're like Fabulous, and like the bad guy's name is Kansa. Yeah, Kansa. Kansa, Kansa. And then the blonde guy, his name is Fabulous. Fabulous, literally Fabulous.
What? Why?
I don't know, man.
You know, if you cross his path again, he's liable to kill you.
Death ain't the worst thing that can happen to you. You ever heard of the Gallowwalkers?
So she's locked up, and this character, this actress, or this character, 100% in the script wrote, played by a Kate Beckinsale type, because they got Kate Beckin wholesale, is what they got, so...
How long were you holding on that one?
Hey, I wrote that one down. I was like, I'll save that one. And then so they're getting ready to take them to somewhere to be whatever. Doesn't matter. They don't explain. And then Wesley Snipes shows up and starts shooting everybody from a cliff with his pistol. Like, that's the effective range he's going for here with a little cowboy revolver. He's shooting from like hundreds and hundreds of yards and just dead-eyeing all these guys, which is impressive.
The entire time I watched this, I was like, man, this feels like I'm playing Red Dead.
Yeah. And then he kills everybody except for like the girl and Fabulous, as we found out. I have now found out his name is. Had no idea that was his fucking name. He's played by. I knew I recognized him from somewhere.
Yeah, where was he from?
He's in a lot of like TV shows, but the thing I recognized him from is that he was Todd, the jock from Freaks and Geeks. If you've seen Freaks and Geeks, the kid, he's like a minor character, but he's like the jock in the show who's like the basketball player. It's that actor. He's also been in like 90210 and like a bunch of other stuff that I hadn't seen.
Kind of familiar.
Yeah, he's been in like a bunch of TV shows in small parts and that sort of thing, but that was what I recognized him from, is Freaks and Geeks. So he saves him, shoots his handcuffs off, and he gets away, runs away, and then just leaves and rides away. And then our guy just chases him down, I guess. Yeah. Because so many of the elements from scene to scene, they like didn't write what was supposed to happen. So then they're like, and then this character just ends up finding that character, I guess, and we're moving on from there.
That good, or was that a lucky shot?
Lucky for you.
And then we cut, and this is where we're introduced to the religious cult at Enoch's Hammer.
Enoch's Hammer. Sounds like a church town, a place of tolerance.
You mean the albino Amish cult?
Yes. So, in this scene, Kyle, I don't understand anything. I need to go through the scene and try to figure out what the fuck happened here. So the woman didn't escape. She ends up getting taken still by the marshals that show up to this Enoch's Hammer like prison camp type place. And when they get there, there's a bunch of gallows set up, and there's these people waiting on the gallows. And there's some cool imagery here too, with like cool shots, but coming like shooting from behind the gallows as they're like being hauled in. And this is, I can tell they spent some money on this movie, because again, this is all shot on location. It's all like practical effects, except for some of the blood spurts and stuff. But like all the makeups and costumes and stuff are all practical and kind of cool looking, and the sets are all like on location and practical. And look, like, so
it feels they had people who knew what they were doing. They had people who had been in the industry for quite some time.
Yeah, if they had a more coherent script, this could have been a good movie. But the script is just meaningless and stupid. So then when they get there, they pull up into the prison camp, and there's all these people in nooses on stage, and there's not Harvey Keitel, the U.S. Marshal, who very clearly was supposed to be played by Harvey Keitel, is standing up there monologuing, and he's like this evil marshal guy who's like, he takes the law. He's like, you've all already been judged. You're here to die or whatever. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, I got a little bit more of a feeling of Gene Hackman from.
Oh, Gene Hackman worked too. The look of him, to me, he looked like Harvey Keitel. But he's talking about like, I bring the prisoners here, and then you get set free because we murder you, and you get to go get judged by Gabriel or St. Peter or whatever.
These are the gates of your salvation. For this sacrifice, God has chosen you.
And they're like, well, that's not fair. Well, you didn't give us a trial or anything. He's like, fuck you.
Sir, to whom do we plead our case?
St. Peter!
You cannot hang us without a trial.
I can, and I will.
So it seems to me like he is working for this religious cult. Like he's bringing them people like to kill, a sacrifice or whatever, because he believes in like their mission or whatever.
Just as he chose me to help these righteous people spread justice across the land.
So we're on the stage, and the marshal is like, I'm gonna kill you all, and it seems like he's part of this cult. And then we cut inside the tent that is there, and this is where we're introduced to
Bad Guy McBacon, right?
Bad Guy McBacon, yeah. Who's again, it doesn't look terrible, but it's a little silly looking. He just looks like a giant slab of bacon. He doesn't have skin. And one of his little acolytes is like helping him get ready or whatever, and then we're introduced to his lover lady, who's also in a low cut bustier, and her name, Kyle,
as he is it the whore? Right?
No, because it's so good. He calls her that the whole time.
The whole time, he's like,
yeah,
they even shot my whore.
Yeah,
son of a bitch even shoots my whore.
No, that is not her name. So in this scene, we're introduced to her. The little guy that's helping the bad guy, he goes, give me a shirt or whatever, and the little guy scuttles away, and then he runs into this woman, and she kisses him and stabs him in the stomach, and then skins him.
Yeah.
And skins him. And then now this is the skin that the bad guy's gonna wear. But my favorite thing is, Kyle, her name. What did she do to that guy, Kyle? She kissed him, and then she cut him. Her name is Kiss Cut.
Kiss Cut. And you must be.
What? Why?
Her name is literally Kiss Cut.
This script was written in 5 minutes.
Kiss Cut. That was a placeholder that just got left in the fucking script. Her name is Kiss Cut. Okay, great.
Dance, magic dance, magic dance, magic dance.
And then so he puts on the skin of the guy, and he wears it, and now he looks kind of like Willem Dafoe. And then he goes outside, and the marshal, who is just standing on the thing, like talking about how they're gonna murder all these people and how he seems super down with this cult, is now gets shot by the bad guy
a lot.
But why? I thought they were working together. I don't understand this scene at all. He just, all of a sudden, our bad guy walks out and just shoots them all and shoots him a lot. And I was like, but I thought he was on your side. What the fuck,
because
Kyle?
They needed to show that this guy is the bad guy.
Exactly. But like, why? It doesn't, but there's no connective tissue between this guy like monologuing about how evil and crazy he is on the thing, and then all of a sudden he's like gonna shoot the bad guy who he's working with. Oh, this movie makes no fucking sense, Kyle.
All right, stranger. I'm gonna have to see your face.
If you're gonna show him kick, if you're gonna show kick the dog, find an actual dog to kick.
Jump, magic jump, magic jump, magic jump.
Then all hell breaks loose, and this is where like the rest of the cult comes riding down from the hills. And it's like all these guys like dressed like they have like some of them have bags over their heads. So the one guy is fucking evil tin can bucket head man.
Oh,
like,
with all the spikes coming out?
Yeah, he's got a bucket helmet that's like this big and it's like covered in spikes, and he looks ridiculous. I'm sure it's pulled out of some like old like Bible imagery or something.
Oh, you mean this is like 1800s Mad Max?
Yeah, it really is kind of this moment here. Oh, he looks ridiculous though. And he comes riding down, and one of the guy, and he looks like he's about to like murder the lady, but then she gets grabbed by a guy, and this is where we get our first CG blood spatter. Is like one of the other prisoners pulls out a gun and shoots the guy that grabs her, and the blood that comes out. In the opening scene, it was a squib. They were actual squibs. That was the only scene that uses squibs. From here on out, it will be CG
because it's cheaper.
Yeah, very, 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 very cheap. But then we cut back now. Wesley Snipes and our Fabulous is apparently his name, are walking, and they get into like this little like ruins area. And this is where he gives him a gun. Wesley Snipes gives this guy a gun, and the guy's like, okay, and then acts like he's gonna duel him. And the kid's like, what is happening? What is going on?
He's starting to walk back.
Yeah.
And falls through a trap door?
Yeah. That Wesley Snipes has just so that he can test people's killing potential, I guess, because that's what this is. It's all a test, Kyle. He needs help, and so he has this guy fall through a trap door so he can murder these zombies that he keeps in a murder zombie labyrinth.
This is so stupid.
So the guy kills the first zombie, and then Wesley Snipes shows up. Yeah.
Wesley Snipes like ties down his arm because we think it's injured or something.
Yeah. No, he goes, and then he just but he says,
"Any good with your left?"
He's testing him, Kyle. He wants to know if he can shoot with his right and his left hand.
Yeah, but so he kills the guy with his left, and he's like, "Oh wait, my arm's fine.
Now my arm's free." None of this was ever thought out. They wrote this script, like you said, in a few minutes. They had an idea, and then they wrote the details very quickly, and it fucking shows. He gets out of the murder zombie death prison, and he walks up to Wesley Snipes and is like, "You got to tell me what's going on here." And this is the monologue exposition dump. Oh, the camera bad boy spins around him.
Wesley Snipes on a horse on top of a sand dune. Just shoot that for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, he's not on a horse. I think he's just standing. But yeah. And the camera just spins around him forever as he talks. He's just like, there was a boy. And he keeps closing his eyes and opening them like he's remembering, I think is what this is supposed to be like the acting he's doing. But he just keeps like closing and opening his eyes.
The acting.
Yeah. And then we find out that his mom... he literally just expo dumps all of this. His mom was taken by the San Diablo sisters, and then he had to go live in an orphanage. And then he worked at a slaughterhouse for a while. And then he fell in love with his stepsister, and they fucked. That was his stepsister.
Okay.
Well, I say stepsister. He was taken in by the slaughterhouse lady.
Yeah.
And her daughter, he falls in love with. So he was raised with her.
Well, for the record, it is Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, he's raised with her, so they're kind of like siblings.
And raises him with her daughter. Ah, beautiful daughter.
But also, they fuck, so...
He grows to love the daughter.
Take that for what it is. But then she's the one who, from the flashback at the beginning, got raped by those guys, so then he wants revenge for that, or no, he leaves or something. He explains all of this, and it was words. And then she dies giving birth to the child from the guys that raped her, and then so now he's mad about that, and he's out for revenge.
She says the men are gone, and to her they mean nothing, but not to him. No. For one of them grows inside of her.
But then we get that flashback to the prison murder scene is like right after this. And this is like Wesley Snipes. And he has like this crazy like tribal clay makeup thing. Yeah, it's wild. It looks cool. I mean, it looks cool. And again, it's like the movie like doing a visually interesting thing, but I don't understand what it is.
It definitely it stops like halfway through. Like they probably should have gone full body with it, but they didn't because that would take hours.
Yeah, it just stops at his neck.
It stops at his neck, and the rest of it's like,
yeah.
Okay.
Just, I guess we're giving up on that. It does look cool, though. I will give them that. And then he shows up at this prison, and apparently all the guys who were involved in the rape of his sister lover...
They all got captured.
They were all captured, and they're all there, including the guy who is actively sewing his lips shut for no reason that we know of. Yeah. We don't know why he's doing that. I guess he doesn't...
It would have been nice that during the flashback, like he had like a moment of crisis or something like that.
Yeah, like he almost sells him out or whatever.
Or even that, like maybe he's looking for redemption and he's trying to like, I guess sewing my lips is my penance.
I guess that's what it's supposed to be, but that's never explored in the movie at all. Like we never get any of that. So then he shows up and he just murders everybody. Wesley Snipes murders everybody in this prison.
In the cells.
Literally, so he does kill a lot of people because like he said, there's like 5 guys who he's there, quote unquote, to kill, but he murders everybody in that prison.
Yeah.
I always hated that bitch. Señor amigo.
Just random. And this is the woman who eventually becomes Kiss Cut. That he like walks up and there's like a prostitute who's in the prison and she like blows him a kiss and he just
blows her away.
I think that's the line in the movie. That is the line she says. She goes, "I blew you a kiss and you blew me away."
I blew you a kiss and you blew me away.
She says that in the fucking movie. And so he just starts randomly shooting everybody, kills them all, and then they all come back as zombies.
He doesn't kill one of them.
Yeah, that one guy lives.
Dead.
Well, and that's what's so stupid is that like then we find out later that he died in this moment because as he's riding his horse away, one of the guys was still alive and comes out and shoots him.
No, I was talking about the dude who hung himself.
Oh,
the
yeah.
son.
And that's the big spoiler at the end of the movie. So let's just explain that. So the main bad guy who wears the bacon man who wears the skin, he now wants revenge on... So Wesley Snipes got revenge on him, and now this guy wants revenge on Wesley Snipes for murdering him.
Whenever you call him the Bacon Man, the only thing that goes to my head is Kevin Bacon and Hollow Man. Whenever he becomes visible again.
One last kiss, for old time's sake.
Because he looks exactly like that.
Does he?
Yeah, because
it's been so long since I've seen that movie.
All of his skin's gone, and it's just a muscle fit.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I wonder if they like bought the makeup from that.
Oh, absolutely not, because it was all CG.
Oh, okay, yeah, I do remember that. Oh, that movie was terrible. The only thing I remember about that movie, because it's so weird and crazy, is. And it's like peak late 90s filmmaking. It's the moment where he's like breaking into somewhere and he sucks on some girl's boob. And it's just like CG moving, like it's so weird.
Jump, magic, jump, magic, jump.
Bacon Man wants revenge for Wesley Snipes murdering everybody, but it turns out that this guy can't figure out why him and all of his friends came back to life, but his son, who Wesley Snipes killed, didn't come back to life, who he thinks Wesley Snipes killed.
Even my fucking whore comes back, but with my son, death persists.
Didn't come back to life, and he doesn't get why, and he drags around his son's corpse with them everywhere. Mummified, and it's actually kind of a cool moment later in the movie where the one guy is like carrying it on his back like a scarecrow. He's got like a backpack.
It would be really cool if that little religion thing was based around that.
Yeah.
That would be genius.
I bet it is, but they just don't ever explore
because
any
then
of it.
It would be like... the entire thing is it's all based around this. They worship this mummified, crucified man on this thing, and nobody knows what happened to him. And the whole idea behind this little crazy offset religion is for him to bring back his son.
Yeah. Well, and also, or it could be really interesting if because they can't die, they worship. This is a whole different thing, but they worship
the dead,
him because he was able to die. Because he actually, and you know, they can't die. They're like, fuck, we can't, we're like stuck in this internal like torment or whatever. And this one, we got to figure out how this one asshole was able to actually die. And they like worship, that could be interesting too. But yeah, they don't go into any of that. It's just Bacon Man bad, sniffs pretty girl's boobs. I don't like whatever. And then the priest. So we cut back to the cult scene on the gallows. And our guy's like gonna monologue and stuff, but one of the priests who's on the gallows is like, "This is madness," and then they kill him.
Taking a fucking knife to the face.
God have mercy!
But I thought this priest was part of their crazy shit too. I don't understand. Fuck. I thought they were all whatever. Doesn't matter. Then we're cut back to the slaughterhouse. We get to see the cow guillotine, which is fun.
That's pretty cool.
Clear.
And it's interesting because like it's all based around skinning and stuff. Like all the bad guys skin. Yeah. Well, they skin people.
Yeah.
The good guys, they're skinning these animals. Like the kid is actually tanning a hide.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, it's like
there's some stuff here. There's something in this movie deep down in all the like.
I would like to know if they have all this livestock. They have goats. They have cows and stuff. Where are they grazing? Because this is nothing but the desert.
They're just in the middle of the fucking desert. Yeah, I have no idea. And then so they show up at this her slaughterhouse, which is where Wesley Snipes grew up. And they're gonna make their last stand here because the guy, he let the one guy get away or whatever at the beginning on the train track. So now that guy shows up and tells the bad guy, hey, Wesley Snipes is alive, and he's somehow they know where he is. I don't know how they know where he is, but they fucking know where he is.
As for Sueño, she was my everything. My friend, my lover. The memory that I lived for.
And then after it cuts back from that little flashback, he has like a rock in his palm.
Yeah, what was that about?
Skin and shed.
Never touched upon, never mentioned again. He just looks down and has like a rock.
It's impaled into his hand.
And was he like squeezing it in like anger? I don't
know.
I have no idea.
Then Fabulous is completely oblivious. He's got a goddamn rattlesnake on his leg.
There's really nothing coming that we won't see.
Well, you didn't see that.
Oh, and then we got to talk about Twi'lek, dude. There's a guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you look good, boss.
The dragon dude?
Yeah, there's a guy who's, and again, this kind of comes out of nowhere. There's a guy, so they have to keep putting on other people's skin because they're like zombies and their skin dries out.
Well, they may laugh, but you don't see me hiding in a hood, huh? Shriveling like beef jerky.
So they have to keep wearing other people's skin is what they say. And this guy, I don't remember his name. He has... He's hacked the system. He's figured out that if he uses lizard skin, it lasts longer. So he has like iguanas sewn onto his head, and it includes like 2 iguana tails coming out of the back of his head, and he looks like a fucking Twi'lek. It's amazing. And then there's a great line. The bad guy, the lizard guy's like, can I have her lips?
If I do a good job, can I have her lips?
And the bad guy goes, yeah, sure. But if you do a bad job at whatever he's doing with the son's corpse, I don't even know. He's doing something with the son's body. And he goes, but if you do a bad job.
You do a bad job, and I'll sew lips on your face myself. And that'll come with a beard.
And I was like, did he just threaten to sew her vagina onto that guy's face? Because holy shit.
What?
Holy shit. That's intense. Oh, and then he says, "Forgive me, Father, for I have skinned," and I almost turned the movie off.
Forgive me, Father, for I have skinned.
Then the slaughterhouse lady gets drunk randomly. None of this is.
Well, hang on. Is this the part where she's stumbling out?
Yeah.
Of the boat? Okay, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen.
What is that?
So she's walking out drunk and stumble. I guess she like notices Wesley Snipes from the distance. Well, like they have like a scared jump and like a sound stinger. As Fabulous is like, "You're drunk. You need help.
Go sober up."
Sober up, man.
They're going over to this trough.
Oh, this
to
part.
dunk her. And as they go there, there's this guy who's hiding as a goat among a flock of goats. Is it a flock of goats? What's a group of goats? Anyways, he's hiding among the goats. And they don't even notice him.
No.
He's like 10 feet
He's
from
on
them.
his hands and knees, covered in blood, and has a goat corpse draped over his body, and he's just like, "I'm gonna get you." No. I'm gonna get you.
So they're about ready to dunk, and then the guy like stands up, covered in blood. It looks ridiculous. And then he gets his head blown off, right?
Yeah. Then Wesley Snipes shoots him with the rifle, and his head explodes. That scene is the best one in the movie, maybe.
I watched that and I was like, what the fuck did I just watch?
I love the guy crawling up as a goat. I was like, so you let that guy crawl all the way up from like out yonder into your goat herd and then didn't notice? Okay, good job, guys. No. Fantastic. Oh, it's amazing. And then but this is where the dust storm starts coming, and like a bunch of people on horses, like the horsemen, the evil horsemen from the cult start riding in.
Yeah.
And Wesley Snipes is riding at them with his rifle, shooting them, and a guy riding a horse's head just explodes. And he just keeps riding. I love it so much. And then it makes no sense because then all of a sudden we cut back to like the little homestead and there's like Fabulous is there and like all of a sudden like bad guys are like coming up out of the ground and out of the well and none of it makes any sense. He just starts shooting everybody.
Wesley Snipes is a horrible lookout.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they all just get right on top of him real quick. There's random bad guys everywhere. He fights some more guys with sweet metal bucket heads. There's like not the big bucket head guy. There's like the little bucket head guys. There's like two of them, and he keeps shooting them in their bucket head. And I'm like, that's like the only armored part on their body. Yeah. But okay, I mean your gun will probably still work. But yeah, it's still it doesn't make any sense. And then he fights Big Buckethead Man. Fabulous fights Big Buckethead Man,
and he gets impaled.
Gets impaled. It's great. The guy runs at him like a fucking rhinoceros and impales him. And then Wesley Snipes is at this point also using a whip now. He's got a whip out. He's like fucking
Indiana Jones.
Castlevania, Indiana Jones, going crazy, whipping everybody. And he shows up inside, and he after our guy gets impaled, and he's fighting the Big Buckethead guy, and they fall through the floor. There's all kinds of nonsense happening, and he lures him into the guillotine. Yeah,
and then gets
his head cut off.
We don't see it,
but then is alive still in the next scene
because it like apparently only cuts the
bucket off,
the bucket in half.
Yeah, I guess that's what happened because then Wesley Snipes goes outside and the bucket head guy now without his bucket head comes stumbling out, and he looks like Elephant Man or whatever, basically.
I am not a monster.
He comes running out, and he's like coming at Wesley Snipes, and we forgot to set this up earlier, is that the little kid
slings rocks for money.
He's real good with a sling and a rock, and so we get our David and Goliath moment here where he fucking hits him in the back of the head with a rock and kills him. So now fucking Fabulous is like gushing blood from his stomach wound. Yeah. And it's like, I'm surprised he's able to stand. He looks pretty good for somebody bleeding. Well,
he sounds pretty casual about it too.
You saved me.
I never want to see that thing again.
He's like, I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, he's gonna go do the Shane thing and like ride into the desert.
Wanna go cauterize that or anything?
Nah.
I'm gonna go.
Oh, okay.
I'm fine. It's fine. I'm just gonna bleed out over there.
But then Wesley Snipes shoots him.
Wesley Snipes fucking shoots him! And you realize Wesley Snipes realizes he was gonna die, and Wesley Snipes is like, well, if I kill you, you can come back.
Hey.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Come back with green contact lenses.
With green contact lenses. Dope. And then he confronts him. Wesley Snipes, he wakes up in the desert, and it's just a little thing, but like the Fabulous is like, what? You shot me! And then tries to shoot him, and he doesn't have any bullets in his gun, and then Wesley Snipes does the like slow-mo, like, got your bullets, bitch.
Why the fuck did you shoot me?
You would have bled to death.
But it doesn't feel like it's an earned moment or like it matters, because obviously he has his bullets because he's the one who drug him out there into the desert. Like it's like usually that moment in a movie is like the good guy had to like do something clever to like get the bullets out of the guy's gun, and the guy had no idea, and it's the villain, and he's like, oh, gotcha. And this one is just like, you were unconscious for 3 hours and I drug you out into the middle of the desert, so yeah, I took your bullets out of your gun. What a surprise. Magic.
This is the magic trick, huh? Illusion, Michael. Trick is something a whore does for money.
And then we get a flashback because Wesley Snipes explains, I died too. I'm dead. We're all dead. Everybody's dead. Everybody's been dead the whole time. It's the Sixth Sense. So yeah, he got sniped by a guy after he murdered everybody in that fort. One guy was alive and shot Wesley Snipes from a mile away.
For a while.
And he just falls forever. And then his mom just magically appears and resurrects him with the devil magic.
My deal is this. When he is resurrected, so too will all those slain by his hand.
We cut back. We're still trying to make me care about this woman who's trapped, who I know nothing about and don't care about. We don't know her name. We don't know her story. We know nothing about her other than she pretty lady. We save her. Like, I don't understand. It's so
do you need
basic.
Any other motivation?
So fucking stupid. And they find the entrance to some ancient tomb or something. I don't know what this is, Kyle. They find an old ancient tomb that they go into, like a cave, and then there's like these giant pillars with symbols on them, but then that's not even where they do anything. Then they go up to the top of the mountain. The cave was irrelevant. I don't know what the point of the cave. None of it fucking makes any sense. So then they just magically, now they're on top of the mountain,
and that's where everything
goes down. There's like 5 minutes left in the movie. The corpse of his son is like tied to a big rock on top of this mountain, and Wesley Snipes is standing there, and a guy walks up, and it's the bad guy. He's got his purple cloak and everything, and Wesley Snipes shoots the shit out of him. What a twist. It was the Kansas City Shuffle. That was actually the Twi'lek Lizard Boy. Now he's dead, and then the main bad twist. What a twist. The main bad guy shows up with a gun and is like, I gotcha.
Sleep.
Oh, he also killed Kiss Cut at one point, but that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
He killed her with she tried to throw a knife in him and he dodged it and he shot her in the head. So he's got Wesley Snipes at gunpoint, but then Fabulous.
Yeah, rides in.
No.
And then he gives him a gun and he's like, now shoot each other.
And then he asks Wesley Snipes, how's your left?
You any good with your left?
Thought you wanted me dead.
Yeah, well, that ain't what it used to be.
Yeah, and then so they duel, and he shoots him in the head.
Which doesn't quite kill him yet.
Doesn't kill him at all. He's alive for a long time with a bullet hole in his forehead.
All this over one petty piece of pussy.
And then Wesley Snipes shoots the mummy.
Yeah, well, he asks, he goes, why are you alive? Or why did my son not live? Or whatever. Why did my son not come back? And Wesley Snipes doesn't tell him. This guy just magically realizes what happened. He has a flashback in his head, and then it's like, my boy, he killed himself. No!
Took his own life.
And then
Wesley Snipes blows that mummy head up.
My boy!
Explodes the mummy head and then rips the guy's fucking head off and his spine out of his body. Oh, it's great.
My boy!
And then the movie ends. Fabulous gets the girl, even though they don't know each other or care.
Also, he's dead.
He's also dead. She's not dead. Maybe Wesley Snipes should kill her so she can come back.
I'm a woman in need of rescue. What kind of man are you?
Or maybe that won't work anymore because maybe his curse thing is over because that's all wrapped up. Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck cares? Wesley Snipes literally just walks into the desert with a skull and a spine, and then the movie ends. I was like, well,
I like it.
Okay. Roll the credits, and the credits are like comic booky looking, and there's like, this is one of those movies, it's like, how is this not based on a comic book? This absolutely feels like it should be based on like a really like, you know, lesser known like mediocre
like
comic book.
Like
yeah, something like that. It's definitely what they're going for. I don't know what I would grade this fucking thing, Kyle.
Horror Western?
I didn't mean genre, I meant Good, Bad, or Bad. I meant the name of the show, Kyle. It's the second act is boring.
It's
the beginnings and is kind of good. The writing and
that
plot.
That goat scene is fucking amazing.
That scene's great. The writing and plot is incoherent. It's not funny enough or inept enough to be like a normal Good Bad. I guess I have to say bad.
Yeah, I had to give it bad on the grounds that I couldn't fucking follow it.
Yeah, it's incomprehensible, but not in like the fun way that a Neil Breen movie is. It's not that incomprehensible. Like you can kind of gather what's going on, but it's also just kind of nonsense. But it's also competently made enough that it's not like fun. It's all right. It's fine. If you want, you can support us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/GBorBB. Support us for $2, $5, or $10. You know, that sort of thing. I have a podcast called This Film Is Lit, where we based on movies that are based on books. We talk about movies that are based on books. When this is out, I have no idea. Mortal Engines, I think, will be the latest one we've done, probably.
That does not surprise me. That's a book.
Yeah. We'll see how that one goes. I don't know.
I occasionally stream on Twitch. Brian also maybe
occasionally.
In the future.
If I ever get a new computer, I will, because my computer is very much on its last legs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do occasionally do that thing. There was one other thing I was going to mention, and I can't remember what it is now.
Welcome to the new studio.
Welcome to the new studio, Studio 3.0. Also, episode 100 is coming up soon. I want you to, right now, not get your hopes up. Get those hopes down to a nice, reasonable level. A lot of hype in the comments for episode 100. We're gonna do something, but we're not gonna get like Sam Maravich on the episode. We're not gonna like have him in the room or anything. So like, let's just tamper down that hype train just a little bit before we. It'll mostly be a normal episode, but maybe a little bit something fun. But we'll see.
Exactly.
We haven't filmed it or figured it out yet. So
there's a lot of suggestions, Brian.
A lot of suggestions, and we're gonna take 0 of them. So until next time, thank you everybody for joining us one more time. Keep watching movies.
Just maybe not Gallowwalkers.
It is free on IMDb, which I didn't realize until recently. IMDb has a streaming service.
Yeah,
that's where I watch it. So great.